Token standards are architectural choices, not just labels. ERC-20, 721, 1155, 1400, and 3643 each solve different issuance problems, from utility tokens to regulated assets. In this module, we'll compare their trade-offs around compliance, identity, transfer control, and lifecycle. We've already built the foundation: market context, architecture choices, platform selection, and asset models. Now we translate those models into token standards, the on-chain patterns that make regulated issuance practical and interoperable. A token standard acts like an architectural contract. It tells wallets, custodians, marketplaces, explorers, and middleware what a token can do and what behavior to expect. The standard also shapes the asset lifecycle: issuance, transfer, redemption, freezes, recovery, and in some cases, partitions or role-based controls. For regulated assets, basic transfer logic is not enough. If the standard cannot support compliance, settlement, reporting, and secondary trading, the enterprise may face expensive redesign later. Start with the asset, not the code. Ask whether it behaves like identical units, unique items, semi-fungible batches, or multiple classes. Then layer in controls such as KYC, transfer limits, lockups, and jurisdiction rules. Next, check lifecycle operations: minting, burning, freezes, recovery, and document links. Finally, validate ecosystem fit with wallets, exchanges, custodians, and analytics. Treat the result as an architecture decision record, because the standard shapes everything downstream. ERC-20 is the common language for interchangeable tokens on Ethereum-compatible networks. When one unit is identical to another, such as a stablecoin dollar, reward point, or utility token, ERC-20 fits well. Its standard functions let applications move tokens, check balances, and manage allowances. That broad compatibility is why wallets, exchanges, and DeFi tools support it so widely. That familiarity comes with limits. ERC-20 gives you a simple transfer and allowance model, but regulated assets usually need more than fungibility. Allowances can create risk when approvals are broad or forgotten. Standard transfers also do not ask who the investor is, where they are located, or whether a restriction applies. So architects either extend ERC-20, wrap it with compliance checks, or choose a security token standard with controls like pausing, whitelisting, minting, burning, and admin roles. ERC-721 is for assets where identity matters. Unlike ERC-20 tokens, one ERC-721 token is not equivalent to another. Each token has its own ID, owner, and metadata, which may point to artwork, documents, attributes, or legal terms. That makes it useful for certificates, licenses, deeds, collectibles, and real-world asset references. The trade-off is simple. ERC-721 fits unique ownership records, not divisible, interchangeable financial units. ERC-1155 helps when one platform needs to issue many related assets without deploying a separate contract for each one. A single contract can manage different token IDs, where each ID may represent a fungible share class, a unique collectible, or a semi-fungible limited series. Its main advantage is operational efficiency, especially for batch minting, transfers, and balance checks. For regulated finance, though, ERC-1155 is still only the asset container. Eligibility, restrictions, and reporting need separate compliance logic. At this point, think of ERC-20, ERC-721, and ERC-1155 as design tools, not compliance solutions. ERC-20 fits interchangeable units such as points, currencies, or simple share balances. ERC-721 fits individually tracked assets such as certificates or unique rights. ERC-1155 fits platforms that manage many asset types or series. Once that asset model is chosen, securities controls still require additional contract logic and governance. Security tokens add another layer because the token is not the whole asset. It is a regulated representation of legal and beneficial ownership. Transfers, therefore, cannot be purely permissionless. The system must check who is eligible, where they are located, whether lockups apply, and whether issuer actions are required. Standards like ERC-1400 add controls such as partitions, document links, audit events, freezes, recovery, and forced transfers. The goal is to make blockchain settlement compatible with securities law. ERC-1400 treats a security token as more than a balance. Holdings can be split into partitions, such as locked, restricted, jurisdiction-specific, or share class balances. The token can also attach references to the legal documents that govern the securities. Before a transfer occurs, validation can check whether the move is allowed and return a clear reason if it is blocked. Operator controls then provide the administrative layer that issuers and regulated agents often need. Regulated assets sometimes require emergency controls. A court order, sanctions issue, lost key, or mistaken transfer may require an issuer to freeze an account or force a transfer. But these powers should never be casual. They need clear authority, separated roles, approvals, on-chain records, and audit trails, so investor protection does not become operator abuse. ERC-3643, implemented through T-Rex, makes transfers conditional on verified identity. An investor wallet is linked to an identity record, and trusted issuers add claims such as KYC, accreditation, residency, or sanctions screening. Before any transfer, the token checks the identity registry and compliance engine. If the required claims and rules match, the movement is authorized. This is why the architecture fits regulated securities, private funds, real-world assets, and permissioned secondary trading. The selection logic is straightforward. If units are interchangeable, ERC-20 is usually enough. If each item has its own identity, ERC-721 is the better fit. If one platform issues many asset types or series, ERC-1155 can reduce complexity. But when transfers depend on eligibility, whitelists, issuer powers, and audit trails, look toward ERC-1400 or ERC-3643. The goal is fit, enough control for regulation, without adding machinery the asset does not need. Token standards give us the starting point, not the full regulated platform. ERC-20, 721, and 1155 define asset models. ERC-1400 adds security token controls. ERC-3643 and T-Rex add permissioned identity and compliance. Next, we turn these choices into modular contracts for issuance, transfers, lifecycle operations, and auditability.